I finally took Richard's advice. That was namely to use this type of pad, and I cheated a little bit, so I just put it on the normal bowl type handle on the Anderson scraper, and I put the biax blade, just flattened it a little bit more, and then put the biax blade here. This is a short blade. It's not so flexible as the longer one, of course. I will try both. I just hold the scraper, the pad, against my belly. Maybe this is for older men. It's possible to scrape steel. This is cold rolled, and I ground this to a couple of degrees positive actually, and then push down. And just instead of doing it with my arms, of course, which gives me a lot more degree of freedom, and also to make errors, I was error prone. This setup is much more rigid. And as you can see, I also produce strokes the other way. That means on the return stroke. So if I do like Richard says, this tap a dance or tap tap, you can also do that. And of course, I wasn't too good to produce even strokes here, but just for trial. This is the short type of blade, so I can also switch to longer, more flexible. Of course, you want to make yourself a better scraper than this. This is now more flexible, so I can move it. Then do the same. Or the tap. As you can see, the chips that are produced are not the same as for cast. And now my cold rolled steel plate. See the chips here also, how they look. I can also try the tap here. I have some area down here. I think I can try again. You can actually also scrape aluminium that same way. Let's see if we have a piece of aluminium here. Already scraped a little bit. We try again, just for show. Too steep an angle. And now I've clamped a piece of aluminium here, and then for a close-up of how this looks. See? Chips. We can take it so you see the return stroke fully also. Don't know if you can see that, but there is a difference. And you see how aluminum chips also look like. You can try the tap again. And shorter. It's harder to get consistent results, but we try again. Oops. It's very hard. I took a test piece of aluminium, and you can see the consistency of pattern you get by biax scraping. Somewhat more inconsistent hand scraping. Here again, hand scraping. And then I think this was biax scraping, but a little bit more wild. It's not so consistent as you see here. Just thought that was cool to show. And then all again. You have much more control this way. So, thanks Rich. Took me a couple of years to realize, but and the opposite way. The trick with this is that when you lift it, like this tap tap, you don't leave a burr. So there's no burr. See, there is improvement to be had, both on consistency of the scraping length and certainly on other matters also. So practice makes perfect. Oh. And there is a certain amount of a burr produced. You can see that, of course, by the return stroke. If, however, I do this tap, we can try that. That means it's somewhat harder to control to get a consistent marking. Take you a little bit further down the road here, like that, and try that once more to get more consistency, starting on the right hand side here. You see, my technique is far from perfect, and it's very hard to get even results in the stroke, for the stroke length. It can be viewed here, but again, you just have to practice. The advantage of this technique is that there is no burr.